Steve, thanks for that. For months, Reality Check has been telling you about the fight for the Republican Party that national media seems to be missing. From one state to the next, state conventions have been a battleground between establishment Republicans and a new wave of liberty voters. And in no state has that clash been as apparent as what happened in Georgia last weekend. This is a Reality Check you won't see anywhere else. The state of Georgia held its state convention last weekend. As part of that convention, a resolution was introduced regarding the National Defense Authorization Act. As a reminder, Section 1021 of that act allows the president to order the indefinite detention of any terror suspect, whether a U.S. citizen or not, without charges filed and without a trial.
President Obama signed into law the National Defense Authorization Act of 2011, and whereas Section 1021 of the aforementioned act is repugnant to all American ideals, traditions, and laws, inasmuch as it violates the United States Constitution in that it suspends the writ of habeas, a protection contained in Article 1, Section 9, and violates the 5th, 6th, and 9th Amendments. Now therefore be it resolved that the Republican Party of Georgia calls on the United States Congress to repeal Section 1021 of the National Defense Authorization Act of 2011.
As you can see, the crowd loved what it heard. And when the motion was made to adopt the resolution, the ayes clearly had it. Then came an amendment to that resolution.
All right, I would like to make an amendment that we will, the Georgia Republican Party will not endorse a candidate that has voted for or supported those sections.
The motion to amend the resolution passed. Then came discussion as to whether to adopt the entire resolution. Over the course of that discussion, the Georgia state leaders realized there was a problem.
We cannot vote for an amendment if we're not sure it would prevent the Georgia Republican Party from endorsing the Republican nominee. This would hurt the party. I urge you to vote no.
Any nominee who would oppose our constitutional rights should not be supported by this body.
That debate went on for some time until it was realized by the establishment leadership in the GOP in Georgia that they were about to paint themselves into a corner. Why? Because even though in their resolution they were quick to point out that it was President Obama who had stolen their constitutional rights by signing the NDAA, the Republican candidates the establishment wants to support also support what the president signed into law.
Governor Romney, as president, would you have signed the National Defense Act as written?
Yes, I would have, and I do believe that it's appropriate to have in our nation the capacity to detain people who are threats to this country, who are members of al-Qaeda.
So ultimately what happened? The resolution to not support the NDAA, which again, the resolution stated, violates at least 4 protections in the U.S. Constitution, it was withdrawn by the sponsor, rather than allowing it to be voted on.
I'd just like to mention that if the Georgia Republican Party is going to withdraw resolutions every time the votes don't exactly go your way, then we're undermining the very foundation of this party.
And that is what you need to know. The fight for the future of the Republican Party is well underway, and the clash between the two factions, the establishment and the Liberty Wing, has never been more clear. One side appears to be looking to match the party's conviction with the candidate of choice. The other side is looking for the candidate who supports the party convictions. And that is Reality Check.